Beloved ones, it is with great joy that we, the Council of Eight, interact with you in this manner. For this, the 14th grand secret of spiritual mysteries, eternity. In order to speak with you, beloveds, regarding eternity, we must understand the definition. And yet understanding eternity is difficult for a mind that lives with a calendar and operates on a 24-hour system of time. It can be eternity before you go to bed, as it were, or eternity before you fall asleep. It can be an eternity before you reach the age you wish to reach. You can feel like an eternity before you're able to leave a situation that you wish to leave. These are all understandings and uses of the word as it exists in your cultures. Eternity is simply meaning a long time. But a long time is also a definition that differs from one person to another. For some, having to wait 5 seconds is a long time in your microwave generation. For others, having to wait years is a long time, whereas weeks is no time at all. So would we, the Council of Eight, speak to you in this 14th grand secret regarding eternity? We are speaking of a word that you might relate to when we use it as a synonym, and that word is foreverness. Eternity could be considered foreverness, and foreverness can be linked to the conscious idea that you can hold now in your consciousness that what activates the atoms and molecules of life within your being is foreverness. And the only reason that you ever disappear from foreverness is because you allow yourself to. When spirit in human form decides to leave its human form because life is over, and when we say decide, we mean the soul has made a conscious decision for one reason or another. And there are as many reasons that a soul might be ready to leave its physical form as there are grains of sand on your beaches. So if you hear or read 3 or 4 reasons, and your source says that is all, it is a falsehood. Foreverness is more than the conscious mind in human form can contemplate, because it becomes an amorphous form that is often related to the stars and the sky, something that goes on and on that you can only imagine in your mental being, something that you think you can understand because there is no boundary, because it never ends. But we wish to think of expansiveness and foreverness and eternity not as something that is boundaryless, but something that is in existence at all times. Using the word time because you understand time. So always in existence is eternity. You dance across the energies of eternity in what you call life. You skip, you slide, you fall. You have all kinds of experiences as you skitter through life, as it were. A little blip on the timeline, if there were one. If there were such a thing in eternity as a timeline, you would be a tiny blip on that little timeline. But humans, the human form, let us say, spirits in human form, tend to calculate time. They calculate how long it takes something to happen. They calculate how long they must wait. They calculate how long such and such will take to come back into the atmosphere. Calculations are generally based on time, because that is the infrastructure that you use on your planet in order to understand anything. It is all based on time. And this is why we say in the speaking to you of eternity, it is difficult for spirit in human form to understand timelessness, because the closest you get right now is perhaps being retired, for no one can tell you when to go to sleep or when to get up. No one can tell you when to eat. No one can tell you when to go wherever you need to go. You are flowing, as it were. You are flowing with energy. But you may think of yourself as flowing with foreverness. You may think of yourself as flowing with timelessness or flowing with eternity. If you begin, beloveds, to find a way within your consciousness that you can think of yourself as flowing with eternity, you will eventually end the idea that you carry in your minds, your memories, your emotions, that you end, that life ends, that life is a series of experiences that eventually end, and then you begin anew, as it were, in some other experience. The purpose that we, the Council of Eight, have for introducing you to this 14th grand secret, eternity, is that we might help you, let us use the word climb, yes? Climb out of that which encases you, that helps you believe in beginnings and endings, as it were. So timelessness, foreverness, eternity is about no ending and no beginning, no tracing yourself back to where I began, no fast forwarding to who I will be and what I will become. Although we are not saying do not dream, and we are not saying do not imagine, and we are not saying do not create by putting your focus upon those things. We are seeking to have the atoms and molecules within your being invested in eternity, if you are seeking the same thing. Each one of you hearing these words still thinks of beginnings and endings. You still think of starting and finishing. That, of course, is Duality Planet. That, of course, is how everything on your planet has been programmed into you from the day you started school. You were given work to do, and you had a certain time frame. And even when you were beginning, perhaps you did not know how to tell time, but you understood that the teacher would let you know when time was up. And each of you have that living memory in your being that are hearing these words. There is that in you that believes at some point your time is up. And this was given to you in elementary school, over and over and over again. Time's up for the test. Time's up on the playground. Time's up talking to your friend. Time's up eating lunch. Time's up, you can go home now. This is very subtle in its programming, but very profound in its effects upon your being. For you expect time to be up. You expect it to be told to you. You expect to see it. You expect to witness it. You expect to feel it. You expect it to be your truth one day. Time's up. And we ask you to think in your lives right now, how many times in your own life do you hold that thought? Are you at work and watching the clock, waiting for time to be up? Are you a practitioner working on someone waiting for time to be up? Are you babysitting and waiting for time to be up? Are you walking a dog and waiting for time to be up? In each of these moments of living experience, which is muscle memory, singing and dancing itself within your own reality, you are accentuating the non-existence of eternity. Would you understand? You have allowed yourselves over and over and over without really knowing it, though the moment you hear it, you are understanding it and recognizing it, that you have participated in a game of life that programmed you. Time is always up. Your time is up. What do those who are in prison say? My time is up. I've served my time. There is countdown in your life, whether it is from a birthday to a death day, whether it is from the moment you start work to the time you end work, whether it is from the moment you begin a meal to the time you end the meal. In this first lesson, beloveds, we are seeking to deliver a concept of in the moment, nowness, foreverness, eternity. Not that you will chew your food forever and ever. There will, of course, be a time when you are complete with the action. But being complete with an action does not mean eternity does not exist. You have just completed an action in the living of eternity. When you began to master the feeling concept of eternity, you will realize that you are dancing through life, that you are flowing through life, and all that you have ever done could be done with this new perspective, and it would not change the quality of anything at all that you have been doing, but it would change the vibrational state of your being. And as the vibrational state of your being shifts and changes into a concept of, an idea of, a desire of, a knowing of eternity, you began to lay the foundation for the cosmic scene of your awakening, where an immortal flame of joy bursts forth, and you shall immortal be.